Wonder Woman is probably one of the most well-known superheroes in the entire world, and although she may not be the first female superhero to exist, she has a huge fan base, making her one of the most popular superheroes in human history. So welcome to FTD Facts, guys. My name is Dave Wapple, and generally here on the channel we talk about people, places, and cultures and animals from all around the world, but we decided to go in a little bit of a different direction, and we wanted to talk more about superheroes and comics and stuff that inspires us to be better people. And with that in mind, we're going to talk about the tough, the beautiful, the only Wonder Woman. Now, before getting into this video, I want to know from all you guys out there who are behind the lens, I want to know, who's your favorite superhero or supervillain and why? Me, I've always liked, Spider-Man. I think he's one of my favorites. I also like, Batman because he's just so cool. And let's be real, I'm a Superman fan. I know, he's kind of cheap, but I don't really care. But I want to know yours down there. With that in mind, also, I want you guys to leave a recommendation for a future FTD Facts video. It could be off of a comic book character, it could be off of a country, it doesn't really matter. Just let us know what you guys want to see in the future, and we give you guys a shout out if it's really popular. Now, we all know that Wonder Woman's secret identity is Diana Prince. And her original story has her a warrior of her Amazonian people who come from the island of Themyscira, which, although may be a fictional mysterious island in the middle of the ocean, is given its name after an actual Greek coast town that once existed. And yes, we all know about Wonder Woman. We know about her powers. We know about, who she likes to hang out with. But the question is, where did she come from? How has she progressed so far as a superhero that she's sold millions of comics, been in TV shows, and even feature films? Now, Wonder Woman made her first appearance in the 8th issue of the All-Star Comics in 1941. Now, these were produced from All American Publications, who eventually merged with 2 other companies creating DC. But the ink for her didn't come on the page until William Moulton Marston came up with the idea that a superhero shouldn't use strength, but love as a weapon. And it was his wife that said it was a great idea, but said, no, it should be a female superhero. But with her powers, we all know that she has the lasso of truth, but how did that come about? Surprisingly enough, Marston was a man who invented a version of the lie detector. It was called the systolic blood pressure test, and it is the basis for modern-day polygraph tests. Now, with his experience with his invention, he felt that women are more capable of having a heart of gold, and don't really lie. And therefore, her gadget was the lasso of truth. But Wonder Woman didn't just stay to where she was back in the 1940s. Throughout the years, she has gone through some serious changes since the golden age of comics. For example, during that time, the only weakness she really had was her bracelets being bound together. If her bracelets were bound together, she would lose her power, or if they broke, she would go into extreme rage. However, that weakness changed over time because it wasn't really appropriate to the comic book readers. Because her bracelets, which were called bracelets of submission, had suggestions of bondage and BDSM. And by the 1980s, they changed this rule completely. In today's world, Wonder Woman doesn't really have much of a weakness. However, it has been stated that she can be injured by weapons that do pierce, such as an attack from a sword or an arrow from a bow. And deep within the comics, especially in the 52 comics, Batman says that Wonder Woman doesn't really have any weaknesses whatsoever. But it's not just her powers that have also changed throughout the years, it's also been her look. For example, in 1982, the president of DC, Jeanette Kahn, had ordered her writers to change her appearance. At that point, they had dropped her outdated old school look from the 70s, and it was in this very year that we got the WW sign on her chest. And when we also talk about appearances, we should probably go back even further to the 60s and the early 70s and talk about her appearances in other media. Because during the 70s, it was a really important time for Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman had become quite a fascinating character during this time, and to test out her first appearance in television, she was drawn for the cartoon show The Brady Kids, which was an animated version of the Brady Bunch. And she appeared in the first ever full television episode called All Greek to Me in 1972. Now keep in mind, she also appeared as Wonder Girl in Teen Titan episodes in 1967. And by 1973, she was appearing in episodes of Super Friends every Saturday morning. And it didn't just end there, because Wonder Woman was becoming more popular. In 1975, she had become a household name as she had finally her very own show. It was known as Wonder Woman or The Adventures of Wonder Woman. And it ran all the way to 1979, having 3 seasons and a movie pilot. And you could say she was the first actress to officially play Wonder Woman on screen. However, she was not the first. That credit actually goes to Kathy Lee Crosby, who played the role for the 1974 pilot for ABC. Now this pilot actually bombed. They said that it really wasn't wondrous. And it was eventually scrapped for a new, more modern version, which was very similar to the comic book character of the time, and it was developed into the show with Linda Carter by ABC and Warner Brothers. Fast forward to 1985, things once again changed for Wonder Woman. For the Crisis of Infinite Earths, writers George Perez, Lane Wein, and Greg Potter wrote her as an ambassador from her home island. However, Perez added something quite unique to her character's origin, and that was he added more Greek deities and concepts to her story, making her being born from clay figures like in familiar movies like Clash of the Titans. But did the changes stop there? No. Throughout time, Wonder Woman has been continuously tweaked. In 2011, in the Volume 4 of Wonder Woman the Relaunch series, artist Brian Azzarello and Cliff Chiang brought her old costume back, but now gave her a sword and a shield and still having the lasso. But at this time, she was no longer a clay figure, but was now a demigod offspring of the Greek god Zeus and the superhero Hippolyta. And once again, in 2016, she got tweaked yet again. For this series, they had changed her look to match her movie outfit, giving her a cape. And for the Year One series, her origin had changed so that she was given powers by Olympian gods. Now for this new movie, this marks the first time Wonder Woman has ever appeared in a theatrical release for her own film, which will help build her origin story for the Justice League films. However, interesting enough to know, originally Ivan Reitman, the director of Ghostbusters and other great comedies, had an idea to do a Wonder Woman movie in 1996. This was partially due to the success of Tim Burton's Batman and the sequel Batman Returns, but this film had many different changes throughout the years. They had ideas of Sandra Bullock playing the role of Wonder Woman. Even Lucy Lawless, who played Xena the Princess Warrior, had some interest, and Joss Whedon was in talks of writing a different script in 2005. But by 2010, Warner Brothers had announced that they had a Wonder Woman film on the green light. And this film eventually transformed into the one that is currently being directed by Patty Jenkins and stars Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. And although Gal Gadot is a very good Wonder Woman, it's also interesting to know that she was in line with two other actresses, and they were Olga Kurylenko and, of course, let's not forget Elodie Yung. Either way, guys, that is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to talking about Wonder Woman, because there are so many more interesting facts about this great character. My name is Dave Wapple, and thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys maybe want to know more about Wonder Woman, maybe suggest a part 2 down there in the comments section below. You guys can also request other videos, such as videos on people, places, countries, anything you guys want, we're going to look into heavily. But this has been us talking about Wonder Woman, a character that, although is quite fictional, she has inspired many young women and men to be more than who they are. A character that reminds us to be tough, passionate, firm, and of course, beautiful. Hey guys, if you like this video, you might want to check out our other facts about Harley Quinn. It's one of our older videos, so please go easy on us. Other than that, if you want to be a real superhero, try learning about other cultures and people from around the world. For example, check out our video on St. Petersburg in Russia. And other than that, feel free to check out our Patreon for more exclusive content. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.